So let me ask you something. Have you been hearing about the $2,271 Social Security payment going out this week? What about the $1,630 payment? Maybe the $4,152 payment? Or even the $5,251 payment? A lot of people have been reaching out in the comments asking, are these numbers real? Are these actually going out this week? Or is this just internet noise? The short answer is yes. These payments are real. Tens of millions of people are getting Social Security payments this week. But no, that does not mean everyone is getting the same amount. And no, it does not mean every single person is getting one of those exact numbers. That's where the confusion is coming from. Different beneficiaries receive different benefit amounts depending on their work history, retirement age, disability status, and earnings record. What you're seeing in the headlines are average payments and maximum payments for different groups, not one universal check. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what those dollar amounts mean, where they came from, and who actually qualifies for each one. If you're on Social Security, SSDI, or planning to retire soon, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss these updates. This stuff changes fast and misinformation spreads even faster. Now let me show you exactly where this information is coming from, because this is the part that really matters. Anyone can throw numbers into a headline. Anyone can post screenshots online. But what actually counts is the source. What I'm showing you here is a screenshot from an official press release issued directly by the Social Security Administration. This wasn't written by a blogger. It wasn't pulled from a news site. It wasn't something circulating on social media. This came straight from the agency that actually runs the program and sends the checks. That press release was issued on the morning of October 24, 2025. At the time, a lot of people skimmed right past it because the payments hadn't changed yet. It was laying out what was coming once the new cost of living adjustment officially kicked in for 2026. Fast forward to today. As I'm recording this, we're in mid-January 2026. That means this information has technically been public for a couple of months already. But now it's no longer theoretical. It's no longer projections. These updated amounts are finally showing up in real deposits hitting real bank accounts. That's why so many people are suddenly seeing these numbers pop up everywhere. The timing is lining up with actual payment cycles. Once money starts moving, headlines start flying, screenshots get shared, and confusion spreads fast. And this is important to understand. This screenshot is not an article. It's not commentary. It's not someone's opinion. It's the actual SSA release that breaks down the updated average benefit amounts and the new maximum benefit levels after the latest cost of living adjustment was applied. If you look closely at it, it clearly shows the average retirement benefit, the average disability benefit, and the maximum benefit levels for people claiming at full retirement age and at age 70. These are official figures. They're the same numbers the government uses internally to calculate payments. I actually mentioned this during a live stream earlier this month. I said very clearly, mark my words, you're going to start seeing these numbers all over the headlines. I even said people would start asking questions once the payments actually started hitting accounts. And that's exactly what's happening now. The first wave of these updated payments is going out this week, Wednesday to be exact. That's why your feed might suddenly be filled with posts talking about 4 different dollar amounts, making it sound like something brand new just dropped overnight. Nothing new was suddenly announced this week. The money is simply catching up to what was already approved months ago. So yes, it's real. These payments are happening. But no, it does not mean everyone is getting the same amount, and it does not mean everyone qualifies for each of these figures. Your personal payment still depends on your earnings history when you claimed benefits, whether you're on retirement or disability, and a few other factors. That's why understanding the source matters. When you know where the numbers came from, the confusion disappears. Drop a comment below and tell me which payment number you've been hearing about the most. I want to see what's showing up in your feed and what questions people are asking. Let's start with the 2 numbers most people are asking about because this is where a lot of the confusion really begins. The first number is the $1,630 payment. That figure represents the average monthly SSDI disability benefit after the most recent 2.8% cost of living adjustment. That's a nationwide average across millions of disability beneficiaries. Some people receive more than that depending on their work history and past earnings. Others receive less. But when you average everyone together, it lands right around that $1,630 mark. This is not a bonus payment. It's not a special program. It's simply the updated average monthly disability benefit once the COLA increase was applied. A lot of people hear that number and assume everyone on SSDI should be receiving exactly that amount. That's not how Social Security works. Your disability benefit is tied directly to how much you earned and paid into the system before you became disabled. If you had a higher earning career, your benefit tends to be higher. If your earnings were lower or more inconsistent, your benefit may be lower. So the key word here is average, not guaranteed. Now let's talk about the second number, the $2,271 payment. That represents the average retirement benefit across all retired workers nationwide. Again, this is not what everyone gets. It's simply the midpoint when you average millions of retirees together. Back in 2025, the average retirement benefit was roughly $2,215 per month. When the 2.8% cost of living adjustment kicked in, it added about $56 per month on average, bringing that number up to around $2,271. That may not sound like a massive jump in any single month, but over time it compounds. Every year wages adjust. New retirees enter the system with higher lifetime earnings. The formula keeps slowly nudging that average upward. That's why you'll continue to see this number creep higher over time, even in years where COLA increases are modest. It's a slow trend, but it's steady. Realistically, by the end of this year, it would not surprise me at all to see the average retirement benefit settling consistently in the low $2,100 to low $2,200 range depending on wage data and adjustments. But here's the most important part. An average does not mean that's what you personally will receive. Your actual Social Security benefit depends on several things: how many years you worked, how much you earned during those years, whether you consistently paid into Social Security, and when you decided to start collecting benefits. Claiming early reduces your payment. Waiting longer increases it. Two retirees can both be the same age and receive completely different checks simply because their earnings histories were different. So when you see these numbers floating around online, use them as reference points, not expectations. If you already receive Social Security, comment, check, below and share roughly what your monthly benefit is. It helps people see just how wide the real-world range actually is. Now let's talk about the $4,152 payment, because this is another number that gets misunderstood very quickly online. This amount represents the maximum monthly Social Security benefit someone can receive if they claim their benefit at full retirement age, assuming they earned at or near the taxable maximum for at least 35 years of their working life. In plain English, this is not something most people qualify for. This is the top end of the system. Social Security calculates your benefit using your highest 35 years of earnings. If you worked fewer than 35 years, the system fills in the missing years with zero income years, which pulls your average down and reduces your benefit. That's why long, consistent work history matters so much. But even if you worked 35 years, your benefit still depends on how much you earned during those years. To qualify for a benefit this high, someone would have needed to consistently earn close to the annual taxable wage cap and pay the maximum Social Security payroll taxes year after year, decade after decade. We're talking about professionals, business owners, executives, engineers, physicians, and people who stayed in high-income careers for most of their adult lives. It's not about having one or two great years. It's about sustained high earnings over a long period of time. In 2025, the maximum benefit at full retirement age was around $4,018 per month. The latest cost of living adjustment increased that figure to approximately $4,152 per month going into 2026. That COLA increase may not sound dramatic, but on an annual basis it adds up to more than $1,600 in additional income for someone receiving the maximum benefit. Over multiple years, those increases compound. Still, only a small percentage of retirees ever reach this level. Most people will fall somewhere below it based on their lifetime earnings and when they started collecting. Another important point is this. This number assumes you claim at full retirement age. If you claim earlier than that, your benefit is permanently reduced. If you delay beyond full retirement age, your benefit increases further through delayed retirement credits, which we'll talk about in a moment. So when you see $4,152 floating around online, understand exactly what it represents. It's not an average. It's not typical. It's the upper ceiling for someone claiming at full retirement age with an exceptional earnings history. If you're still working and thinking about how to maximize your future Social Security benefit, make sure you're subscribed. I regularly break down strategies that actually make a real difference over time. Now let's address the number that gets the most attention: $5,251 per month. This is currently the absolute maximum Social Security benefit anyone can receive in the system today. There is no higher monthly payment available under the current rules. But here's the truth most headlines leave out. Almost nobody qualifies for this. To even be in the conversation for this level of benefit, someone would need to check several very demanding boxes over the course of their lifetime. First, they must work at least 35 full years because Social Security only counts your highest 35 earning years when calculating your benefit. Any missing years get filled with zeros, which lowers the average. Second, during those years they must consistently earn at or very close to the annual taxable wage cap. That means paying the maximum Social Security payroll taxes year after year. 1 or 2 strong income years won't get you there. This requires decades of sustained high earnings. Third, they must delay claiming their benefit all the way until age 70. That's critical. Once you reach full retirement age, Social Security offers delayed retirement credits for every month you wait before claiming, up to age 70. Those credits increase your benefit by roughly 8% per year, or about 2/3 of 1% per month. If someone delays 3 full years beyond full retirement age, their benefit increases by about 24% on top of whatever their base benefit was. That's a permanent increase that stays with them for life. When you combine maximum lifetime earnings with delayed retirement credits, that's how you arrive at this $5,251 monthly figure. Even then, only a tiny fraction of retirees actually qualify. We're talking a very small national percentage. Most people simply don't have the income history or the ability to delay that long. In 2025, the maximum benefit at age 70 was around $5,108 per month. After the most recent cost of living adjustment, that number increased to approximately $5,251 per month going into 2026. On an annual basis, that works out to roughly $63,000 per year in Social Security income alone. That's more than many Americans earn working full-time jobs, which is why this number gets so much attention when it shows up online. But again, this is the extreme top end of the system. It's real, but it's rare. Most retirees will never come close to this level, and that's completely normal. The important takeaway isn't to chase this number. It's to understand how the system rewards long-term earnings and delayed claiming, so you can make smarter decisions based on your own situation. If you'd like a simple breakdown of how delayed retirement credits actually work and whether delaying makes sense for you, comment 70 below and I'll cover it in an upcoming video. So yes, these payments are real. Tens of millions of people are receiving Social Security payments this week. That part is absolutely true. But no, everyone is not getting the same amount, and no single number applies to every beneficiary. What's happening online right now is that average payments and maximum benefit figures are getting pulled out of context and turned into headlines that sound like everyone is suddenly receiving the same check. That's simply not how the system works. These numbers come directly from official Social Security data. They're not guesses. They're not rumors. They're not clickbait. They are legitimate figures published by the Social Security Administration showing updated averages and maximum benefit levels after the cost of living adjustment. The misunderstanding happens when people treat those numbers like guaranteed payments instead of what they actually are, which is reference points. I've been talking about these changes since November and December, long before the deposits started showing up in bank accounts. At the time, it was easy for people to ignore it because it felt abstract. Now that the money is actually landing, the conversation has exploded, and a lot of half-truths are getting mixed in with real information. This is exactly why it's important to stay grounded in the source, not the headline. And zooming out for a moment, 2026 is already shaping up to be a busy year when it comes to benefits, policy changes, cost pressures, and economic adjustments. We're only a few weeks into the year and we're already seeing movement across multiple areas that directly affect retirees, disability recipients, and working Americans planning their future. That doesn't mean panic. It means awareness. The people who do the best financially aren't the ones reacting emotionally to every headline. They're the ones who stay informed, understand how the rules actually work, and make decisions based on facts instead of noise. So keep your head up. Stay sharp. Stay informed. And always look deeper than the headline. If you know someone who's confused by these payment numbers, share this video with them. It helps cut through the noise and keeps people grounded in real information. Quick reminder for those of you who are on Medicare, because this is something I keep seeing come up in the comments. A lot of people are discovering changes they didn't expect. Their doctor is suddenly out of network. A prescription that used to be affordable now costs a lot more at the pharmacy. A hospital or clinic they've always used is no longer covered. In some cases, people don't even realize their plan changed until they're standing at the counter or trying to book an appointment. If any of that sounds familiar, you may still have options early in the year depending on your situation. The best first step is simple. Grab your Medicare card, grab your phone, and call Chapter Medicare. They've helped thousands of people in this community review their coverage, compare options, and in many cases lower their monthly costs or improve their benefits. These aren't sales reps reading off a script. They're licensed Medicare advisors who actually walk through your doctors, your medications, your budget, and your priorities so you can see what plans truly fit your needs. I can't promise what your outcome will be because everyone's situation is different. But I've seen a lot of people come back and say they saved money, gained better coverage, or avoided problems they didn't even realize were coming. After you speak with them, come back here and comment the word chapter, and let me know how it went. I read those comments and it helps others in the community see what's possible. If you're on Medicare and you haven't reviewed your plan this year, make the call. It could save you real money and prevent surprises later in the year. If this breakdown helped you, hit the subscribe button, share the video, and drop your questions below. And type honest, followed by your experience. I read the comments and build future videos based on what you're asking and what benefits you. I'm here to help you understand what's really happening, protect your income, and avoid costly mistakes. Stay tuned. More updates coming soon. Talk to you on the next update.